Hello guys, this is Modest Major here, bringing you some commentary over some CTF gameplay. The score in the background is 35-1, and it's on the map Simplex. The gameplay starts off pretty darn solid. It starts off with an invincible. The gameplay itself is kind of laggy though. That's the biggest shame really, is my connection has been screwing up recently. I live in the middle of nowhere, so as a result we're not able to get a very good one. And not only is it not a very good one, it's being really inconsistent at the moment. And that's just something that frustrates me. I can deal with being bad at the game and having a couple of bad games here and there, but what I do really get annoyed with is stuff that's out of my hands. And I suppose connection is really one of the biggest problems there. What's really good about that is that, of course, next generation we're going to be seeing dedicated servers pretty much across the board. And I already played Gears of War 3, which had dedicated servers, and Battlefield, of course. And those games I just get great connections on 100% of the time. And I don't want to rag on Halo 4, because for me, connection problems are usually few and far between. It's all on my end. It's not a problem with the actual game itself. But at the same time, it would be nice to have that consistency of pretty much 100% nice connection lobbies. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about today is kind of the whole hoo-ha and drama surrounding the competitive scene right now. Of course, I've talked about this in previous videos about, you know, the majority of competitive players not enjoying Halo 4 and preferring Halo 3. And this has kind of come to the blows, I suppose, in a recent issue that has surfaced regarding AGL tweeting out, what would you rather see at AGL Indiana? Would you rather see Halo 3 being featured or Halo 4? And it was like, retweet if you want Halo 3, favorite if you want Halo 4. And an overwhelming majority retweeted for Halo 3. Now, this is something that I can't really get frustrated about, because, you know, they asked for an opinion, they got an opinion. That's totally fair enough, and I think that's good that AGL want to, you know, garner the feedback of people, and what would they rather see? If they want to, if people are looking forward more to playing one particular type of game, that's what AGL's got to cater to, and that's totally fine by me. Halo 3 is a great game as well, so I suppose I don't have too much problems there. It's more just the attitude surrounding the whole thing, and the negativity and the toxic attitude that the competitive community are trying to inflict upon everyone and make sure that everyone is aware that, oh, we all hate Halo 4. Halo 4 is a bad game, full stop. It is a fact. It is not an opinion. Halo 4 is terrible. We all know Halo 4 is terrible. All that stuff. And it kind of gets on my nerves, and I find it very unprofessional, and I'm going to go into why I think that is. Now, I know some people watching this channel may kind of agree with that opinion, may think that Halo 4 was a failure, may think that, you know, ever since Reach it's been a downward spiral, and the games have never really met the standards of Halo 3. And you're allowed to think that, that's your own opinion, totally. What does kind of frustrate me is the fact that 343 are really gaining a bad reputation, and I don't think rightfully so. They stepped into the shoes of a franchise which was beloved by so many people, and they had to make the game fairly quickly whilst also concentrating on making a next-gen game in the form of Halo 5. They had to bring this game out to the people. They had to anticipate that they were going to get a lot of criticisms. They had to know that they wanted to take the franchise in their own direction, but at the same time keeping the core Halo gameplay that people know and love. And in some ways, when the game first released, I think it kind of fell short of that mark in quite a few areas. There weren't as many maps as I would have liked to seen. The gameplay itself was pretty DMR dominant, and the weapon balance among the primaries wasn't as good as it could have been. However, I think what 343 have done, which I find valuable as a company, and which really gives me hope and credibility to 343 as a company going into Halo 5, is the fact that they've been completely open. You know, they've been able to admit to their mistakes where they've happened, and they're also, you know, working towards title updates pretty much all the time. You know, you'll never see a time where you go onto the bulletin and they're not working on something. They're not hiring someone on board. Ghosty Army, Good Neighbor. You know, they're getting people in to test the game. They got people in to test the new settings with the 4-shot. People loved it at the time. And, you know, a lot of these new settings have really come a long way, in my opinion. You know, if you look at when the game released and what the game is now, I think it's a completely different ballpark. And seeing as this is their first step into a major franchise, their first step into being a AAA developer, I think just a little bit of credit has to be given, and I think, you know, amongst the competitive community, you're professionals, you've played this franchise for such a long time, do you not want to, you know, by helping them by being criticizing and negative, it makes them not want to cater towards a competitive community, because it's not becoming a codependable relationship. It's not something that they can depend on us to be positive and try and work towards a better game. They're just seeing it as, oh, you're going to call it garbage unless it's Halo 3. That's pretty much what's going on right now. You know, if you look at what people are suggesting, they're not suggesting to advance the Halo 4 game in any new and interesting ways. They're just asking people to make it Halo 3. They're just saying, you know, the biggest problems, descoping, the biggest problems, take out sprint, the biggest problems, get rid of armor abilities. And I understand that these problems frustrate people and maybe they make for a less competitive setting, but at the same time, like, you're not being constructive in any way, shape, or form. And I feel like 343 are trying to be constructive as much as they can, but whilst also concentrating on Halo 5, and they probably have limited resources at their disposal, so they can't just go in and overhaul the game completely. And also, it would just become a Halo 4 reskin. You know, people were just asking for Halo 3 Anniversary with this nice engine. I love this engine, and I want it to get put to good use, not just to have a Halo 3 remake. It just kind of frustrates me, to be honest. And I feel like the competitive community are not being professional about the whole situation. I really don't. You know, coming onto Twitter and saying this game sucks, trying to tell as many people as you physically can that this game sucks, making videos saying, why is anyone playing this game? This game's garbage. If you don't think it's garbage, you're an idiot. Look at the settings. It's broken. Blah, 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 blah. You're not just exiting the scene and going to do your own thing. You're trying to take as many people with you. Why do you want to do that? Like, why do you want to inflict negativity upon you? And people trust your opinions. They value your opinions. You're competitive, so they think, oh, you know, this guy's a sportsman. He's at the top of the game. I want to aspire to be like this guy. And if I have to aspire to this guy, maybe I have to share some of the opinions that he has. So maybe he is right about all this, you know, descope is garbage. All this no sprint is garbage. And it's such a toxic attitude to have, and it's not helping Halo 5 in any way, shape, or form, because people are now giving this really negative attitude towards 343 and thinking, you know, this is a company that hasn't listened to the Halo community at all, when that is not true. They have listened to the community. This game is drastically different from the beginning. Maybe it's not quite where you wanted it to be, but I think just completely slagging them off and calling them a bad company and calling it a terrible game is just rubbish. Like, I'm sorry, look at Throwdown. Look at the fact that they've... You know, Throwdown is pretty darn competitive. You can say, oh yeah, but it has sprint in it, so what's the point? It has descope. It's like, look at Call of Duty. Call of Duty has sprint, but you're willing to go to that because it has money involved? I mean, the bottom line is, the reason these people are getting so frustrated is because the money isn't there, and they're not getting the money, and they're pissed, and they're trying to find any way to get money, so they'll drag down people with their negative opinions, even though they're just founded on the belief of, we want more money. I've been Modest Major. Hope you guys enjoyed the commentary. Peace out.